Man, oh man, I said, whoa, hi. Which one of y'all broke the internet? What's up? What's up? What's
My
going
bad.
on, fellas? Man,
We back.
your boy is back. Man,
The band is back.
what is going on, brothers? What? Hey, who is responsible for that? Travis? Mark?
My bad.
I did
that was
not
me.
give YouTube my quill. I
Man.
swear it.
Hey, shout out to the YouTube dudes, whoever you call the guys, the IT department. YouTube crashed, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube has been hacked before. And it was down for hours, and now we are back. So we do apologize for that. Guys, I thought I was doing such of a bad job hosting that they shut me down. That's what I thought.
No way,
man,
man.
no.
Nah,
Yeah,
it was
man.
TROXEL'S mic drop.
Okay.
So
Hey.
good broke YouTube.
Exactly.
Man.
I had a mic drop and it broke
That was
the
it.
YouTube platform.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, man. Well, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, shout out to YouTube for getting on their grind. I'm sure they were losing millions of dollars per second, so they had to get that done. We are back for your Detroit Lions One Pride podcast, otherwise known as OPP. Are you guys down with OPP? I hope so. We are going to get
you know us.
right back into it.
Yeah, you know me.
We still back. We still back, and I think we had just wrapped up what kind of fan everyone was. So we're going to move on to the next point, and that point is I'm going to start with you, TA. TA, what do you think for you are the Lions' biggest strengths for the 2020 season?
What is the Lions' biggest strength?
Yes, correct.
Strength in the numbers, baby. That's where the strength is at. No, I'm just playing. The Lions' biggest strength is definitely offense. But I'm gonna still say this about the offense. The offense, we're not gonna go anywhere if that offensive line can't get it together. I definitely think that's going to be key and vital for the Lions to be able to have the season that they want to have. We need the offensive line to be a little bit better than what they were the last past couple seasons with Stafford getting hurt 2 seasons in a row. You just do not want to keep doing that. So I'm definitely going to say the strength of the team is definitely offense, because if you look around, Matthew Stafford has weapons everywhere. No excuses.
All right. Okay.
Mic drop.
I was going to say we dropping mics all over the place. All over the place. That's what's up. So TA says the biggest strength is going to be, it has to be the offensive line. We're going to go on to Mr. Mark Orem of Orem's Forum. It's
All
tough
right.
to say, man, but I did it. What do you think is the Detroit Lions' biggest strength for the 2020 season?
Well, I'm going to go off what Noble said, and it's definitely the offense. Too many weapons to go around, and Stafford needs to be healthy though to have this team succeed. If he goes down, let's be serious, guys. We're in trouble. We've already seen it, and we got Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, we got DeAndre Swift, who I think is going to be an absolute animal on the field. Carry-on needs to stay healthy. So it's a lot of what ifs. Can you guys stay healthy? But the offense is definitely the key. Offense.
Okay. Well, hey, Mark, I just got to say this to you, bro.
Yeah.
Man, for your first time going live, what a day, huh? What a day.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
You got to be broke in now, brother.
I thought it was my fault, man. What was going on?
He was just trying to put a smile on your face.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Why
right
so
there.
serious?
That's the comic book, so.
So I do got one thing to say though.
Yeah, absolutely. Trav, take over, man. I'm dealing with my kid. Just I'll be back.
Okay. Now I do want to say this to the 5 of you that thumbs down this video. Go get a hug.
Yeah.
Go get a hug, because we know who you are and you're not going to affect us. So God bless you.
Go get a high five.
When it comes to the Detroit Lions, I want to tell you what I think the strength of this team is, no matter what. And my honest opinion, I believe the secondary is going to be the strength of this team. I really do. I think when it comes to Amani Warrior, he is coming into his own. He did very well at the end of the year last year, made a lot of stride going forward. And I think this year he's going to build upon that. And, of course, we got Jeffrey Okudah the 3rd pick in the draft, who is going to be a very big asset to this team and to the secondary. He is very good when it comes to man press coverage. He is going to be a fantastic addition to the young secondary. And of course, we always forget about Tracy Walker. He's still young and he is a fantastic safety. I cannot wait to see him in the secondary there, balling with our new DERRN, the new safety that we traded for from the New England Patriots, a young guy. I loved his ability to really take on the trade, really jump into the Pride Nation, jump into the city of Detroit. He was excited.
Right.
He was all in, man. He was drinking the Kool-Aid like Micro. And so having these additions to the Lions secondary and going and having a young additions, by the way, is going to bring the strength of this team. And I think you're going to see that this year. Hopefully we get more turnovers. Hopefully it's going to be really hard to pass on us. But I think this secondary is going to lead the defense. Of course, we need help with the defensive line, but we do have a lot of talent. Plus, I didn't even mention Trufant and Coleman.
All right. Well, that's what's up. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I think my son was behind the crash. I think that's what it was. Man, I'm telling you, soon as you get going, the kids be like, Daddy, Daddy. So appreciate that, fellas. All right. So who didn't go?
I did not.
Okay, DERRN. What do you think your biggest,
DERRN.
the Lions' biggest strength are this season?
Well, as long as Stafford is up, I think it's our passing game. I'm just going to pinpoint it to the passing game. Last year, before he got hurt, he was on an MVP type of level. It was just beautiful, and it looked flawless the way he was just passing the ball deep. It seemed like 2 years ago they just let him rip it, and it was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, well, that's I can see that, man. We missed out on a lot last year with Stafford being gone, and I'm gonna say their biggest strength is going to be Matt Patricia's 3rd year. We're gonna talk about Coach Patricia a little later in the day, but this guy has had 3 years. He's got his guys. So I think that has to be a strength of cohesiveness at this point. You've been in the coach's chair for what'll be 3 years. You've been through the fire the first 2 seasons. You've got COVID-19 that you're battling right now. And I think somebody brought it up a couple shows ago about Matt Patricia's coaching ability is really going to be tested. And we're going to see a lot more of what he's capable of because of this this social distancing situation. So I think that the biggest strength will have to be the fact that Matt Patricia has his team and they've got to gel together, and we're going to see what they're really made of this year.
And I really like that point that you just stated there.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. You know, I'm really full of them, man. Thank you.
Well, this is something that I've been preaching since we heard them that they're going to keep Matt Patricia. Go full in with your plan. If your plan is, hey, we got to get rid of Slay, we got to get rid of, the players that are not buying in. Don't worry about what the fans say. Don't worry about anything else. Do what your plan is. And they did it. And to me, I respect it. I respect it. If it fails, it fails. But at least they went full in. I 100% agree with you. I think it's a fantastic point that you brought up.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. As I told you before, I'm full of it.
2017 anyways, right, boys?
Say that one more time, Mark.
Well, Slay hasn't been good since 2017 anyways. That's my take.
That's a hot one right there. That's a hot one, brother. Because a lot of people.
Hey, you want to elaborate? Hey, Mark, you want to elaborate on that for a minute?
Well, when he came, in 2017, he was all pro. He absolutely lit the house on fire. And then after that, he really didn't do nothing. He got hurt. He got burned a lot. And he did get burned a lot last year. And it does have to do a little bit something to do with that defensive line. I'm not going to totally put it all on big play. But he really hasn't been himself since 2017.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to talk about something that I think is it goes right into that point that Mark brought up about Darius Slay. So Darius Slay was on a Glover Quinn's channel yesterday. Make sure you guys check that out. It's called the DB Room. Check out. He did a hour and a half, 2 hours with Darius Slay, and I wanted to talk about Matt Patricia since we're on him and his coaching style. So let's take a listen to what Glover Quinn had to say about Matt Patricia.
Oh boy.
If you're a first-time head coach, the way Patricia was, a first-time head coach, and you're coming to a team that's 9-7 and that is competitive, and the first thing you're talking about is changing the culture, what's your reaction, and did that come off to you as arrogant?
Yeah, it definitely came off as arrogant. And I think coaches, and I don't want to speak for every player, but I can speak for the majority of players and the majority probably of the world. The New England Patriots have this arrogancy about them, right? They're just the way people think about it, and rightfully so. They've won a lot of Super Bowls, been to a lot of Super Bowls, won a lot of games, right? So a lot of people think the New England Patriots people are arrogant. They feel like they're better than other people. And so for new head coaches that are coming out of the New England system, that is already against you as a coach. So you can't come in and treat the people like you're better than them. Like that already comes off in a negative light. And I felt like that's what he did. You know, we had been 9-7, I think, the last 2 years. We have made the playoffs. You know, we have made the playoffs twice in 4 years. You know, had two winner-take-all divisional championship games in Week 17. So it wasn't like we were the bottom of the food chain. We weren't the bottom of the barrel like this team that's 0-16 or, you know, 4-12 that you really got to come in and just uproot everything. We were a team that was right there at the cusp. And, you know, we just needed a little boost to maybe get to 10 wins or 11 wins. That's all we did. We didn't need a complete overhaul. You know, the players that we had were good players. So to come in and just kind of, you know, dog the players, like, you know, make it seem like everybody in the organization was like bad and you had to change this and change that. It didn't come across great.
All right. Well, you heard one Glover Quinn. Now he played for the Detroit Lions for the 2018 season. So that was Matt Patricia's first year. And I apologize for the loud audio if it came across too loud. Glover Quinn said some things about Matt Patricia, and he mentioned something specifically about his arrogance. Now, I'm going to start with you, MICROMIKE. With the things that Glover Quinn said about Matt Patricia, how do you feel? Do you think Matt Patricia's arrogance was needed for the team? You think it was a good thing, or you think it maybe was a negative thing?
It just depends on what type of individual you are and how you take it. Now, see, I come from a military background. I was in the Army, and getting chewed up and spit out when it comes to verbal is no big deal to me. I thrive upon that. It really motivated me as a young man. Now, you get older, it's a little bit different. But I think that Detroit has not won a playoff game since 91. I think Detroit has not been a competitive team since I've been born. This team has not done anything. And to get upset by getting a new coach simply because of this reason, to me, it's kind of annoying because we need to win, and we need to win now. Absolutely. No matter what, instead of complaining about the coach, get up there and win. You get paid millions of dollars. And look, I respect all the players, but you have a job to do. At the end of the day, we did not win. And that's not just a mixture of Matt Patricia. That's a mixture of every head coach that we've had since I can remember, every player that we've had. We have a culture of losing. We need to change this culture. Is it Matt Patricia? I'm not 100% sure. I can't tell you that. But for him to come in and try to change a culture, I'm not upset about that. They're professionals. They're millionaires. I did this stuff for $30,000 a year, and it was much worse. And I did my job very professionally, profoundly, and very well. If you get paid millions of dollars and you don't like it, tough it up, suck it up, get in there and get wins. Because at the end of the day, your job is to win football games. The city of Detroit deserves a winner. They deserve it. We've been winning. We've been losing forever. Jim Caldwell, yes, he won us games. Yes, I get it. But he was not taking us to the Super Bowl. And I don't care how nice he was. I want wins. If you wanted to, if you felt like we could have won with Jim Caldwell, then you should have won. You should have won a playoff game, right? You didn't do it. At the end of the day, they wanted to bring this guy in. If he wins, great. If he doesn't, we'll find somebody else. But I'm not going to sit here and cry and whine over a millionaire complaining that he got chewed up and spit out by a coach. Welcome to the group.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, I was going to put myself behind that because I ain't want to do it to none of y'all. Because when Mike, when he gets excited like this, it's tough, man. It's tough to go behind Mike. But I heard you, Mark, agreeing with some of the sentiments of Mike. So can you elaborate on how you feel about Matt Patricia and what Glover Quinn had to say about him?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when a new head coach comes in, he's always going to want to make it his team, right? Like that's just the way it is. And then when guys like professional athletes start talking about arrogance, that makes me laugh because they're all arrogant, man. Like they really are. They're all arrogant, and that's what made him so great, in my opinion. You have to have that arrogance about you, and it's like Mike said. I have no problem with Patricia coming in and trying to make his team. And then there's guys like Slade, Diggs. Now we heard that Devin Kennard was supposed to be running his mouth, and they weren't on board. So you got to get rid of those type of guys, and you need to bring in your guys that actually believe in your system. So when he comes in and he wants to make it his team, just because they went 9-7 the year before, it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing that he wants to make it his team. He just wants it his way because, let's face it, he's the head coach. It's it. And you're making all kinds of money. And I'm not saying you need to like just bow down, but you need to listen to your coaches and you need to listen to your teammates. Everyone needs to be on board. Pretty much is what I'm trying to get at, boys.
All right. I see you. Hey, welcome to the squad.
Thank you.
Mark, hey, doing your thing over there, man. Told you. Not that big of a deal, man. I hear
Yeah, I
what you
want to
guys are
elaborate on
saying.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna go last. Go ahead, TA. Let them know how you feel, man.
All right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, and I'm gonna come at it from a different perspective. Okay, we got to look at both parties. First off, the number one thing is that you have to be able to do is find an identity when you're a new coach. Now, I know what Glover Quinn is kind of talking about as far as he's saying being relatable to the players. He's talking about coming in and whatever tactics the coach is using, the fear tactic, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Because I know when you come from New England, yeah, you have an aura about yourself. You're cocky and all that type of stuff. And definitely you should be because you know what it takes to win. But at the same time, you're not Bill Belichick.
Right.
You're not Bill Belichick. So you got to come in here and understand that you're taking a franchise that's never done anything, a franchise that, sometimes we fight each other, and we've never won. We've never won anything. And at the same time, I'm hearing Glover Quinn talk about Patricia in a way that it makes sense a little. It makes sense because if you look at the Lions and where they were at, basically you wanted Patricia to come in and get them, propel them to the next level. And I think that that's what the type of coach that they thought Patricia was going to be right away. But number one thing is that when you come into a new squad, you always have to be able to find your identity. And I think that that's the only thing that Patricia really couldn't stamp with the players is having it his way and not coming in like he's Bill Belichick and going to get the job done and things of that nature. So with Glover Quinn, I can understand him, and I can also understand it from Matt Patricia's angle as well. Yes, Matt Patricia is probably coming in a little cocky and rolling his head and saying, "Hey guys, get to work," and yelling at people and things of that nature. But you can't use that tactic with everyone, and I kind of understand it. It's just like having children. You can't discipline both your children the same way. One children might be worse than the other children. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And you may have to discipline them another way. You can yell at them, and they're understanding. Then another person, when you yell at them, they might start crying. So some people can't handle that. But at the same time, I think what Glover was trying to say is that when he came in, he needed to establish his identity to this team. not come in with the arrogance of, oh yeah, I came from New England and I'm going to do it the New England way. No, it's not the New England way here in Detroit. It's the Detroit way. It's not New England. So that's what I think Glover Quinn was trying to get at more so than anything else, is that you have to come in and stamp your identity. You're not Bill Belichick. You are just a defensive coordinator. You have to come in and stamp your identity. And once you do that and the players buy in, you have your say.
Absolutely. Shout out to Jeff Terry came into the building. He missed the first part where YouTube crashed and kicked us all off. It's a $4.99 super chat that just got here, so I appreciate that much. The DERRN, how do you feel about Glover Quinn's comments about the arrogance of Matt Patricia?
You know, I can look at it from both perspectives. The way Patricia did it in his first year, I do not agree with a lot of it, but he came from a New England structured place that was always winning Super Bowls. They're very successful. Okay. The Lions were under Jim Caldwell. They got a little cozy with him and they didn't like that he left. So Patricia, coming into his first year as a head coach, he wanted respect like Belichick has, which you can't really expect that to happen in year one, and you can't do what Belichick has done throughout his entire career because he has the wins to back it up. This is your first year, and you were late to how many meetings. You were screaming at people. You were telling them to stop sucking people off. Excuse my language if that's too far, but that's what he said to some people. So
just a wee bit, DERRN.
Right, yeah. I apologize, but I'm just
that was the facts. He did say that, though. He did.
That's what exactly
that's what he said.
Yeah, that is what he said.
So for him to say that to a grown man, I personally wouldn't like my boss telling me that. But at the same time, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play a game that they love. Yeah. So in my opinion, they have to kind of man up, deal with it, go with the groove, do your job.
That's the only way. I like that, Dirk.
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Troxel Sports Talk with the TST. What do you think about Glover Quinn's comments on one man Patricia?
I think you guys all hit it on the head with it. My perspective of it is, like Noble said, you're not Bill Belichick. Have your own identity. Bring that identity to the team. Yeah. And, if the guys buy in, they buy in. If they don't, okay, you got to shuffle the deck. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But with Glover Quinn, just go out there and perform. Just go out there and perform. And you know what? When your contract is up, you can say, hey, I couldn't stand where I was at, but you know what? I did my job and I got out of Dodge, and guess what? Now I just got a bigger contract elsewhere. So sometimes it does hurt, sometimes running your mouth, but then sometimes, you go into a good situation. Like, say, Darius Slay. Darius Slay, yes, probably was running his mouth. I know there has been accounts of him saying, I don't like practicing in the snow and this, that, the other. Well, he got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, he's going to be playing in the snow. But he still landed in a good situation because he has his coach that drafted him in Jim Schwartz. So he's going to already be buying into everything he says. Right. So you're going to get a good version of him. That's the key, is buying into what your coaches have to say, and that's what Mark was elaborating on, and everybody on the panel was really elaborating. You got to buy into whatever your head coach is putting out there, because when all is in, that is one unit. Try to stop one unit. That is one pride.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I might be maybe me and TA are the closest in opinion on this matter. I highlighted the comment from Ramon in New Age. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a dog's age, but welcome back to the chat. All right. So here's my thing. we can talk about Jim Caldwell and we can talk about Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was out of line. You had zero reason to be arrogant. What have you done? You haven't coached anybody. You weren't the head coach of the New England Patriots. You're talking to another man. If you, Ramon, I don't care how much money you got, you're going to catch some hands, okay? Earn people's respect because you respect them. Now, we all men on the panel. I'm not going to tell none of y'all to do that to nobody else because y'all going to want to catch hands, okay? Y'all specifically give me your hands, all right? Now, my thing is this. Jim Caldwell may not have been the guy. That's the argument here. But if you are, you better believe that every one of them dudes played for that man. You know why? Because he respected them. Okay, we all heard that Matt Patricia puts the team in winning before anything else. But we're all men here. At the bottom line, respect is first. Now, I'm not saying go out to dinner with one of them. I'm saying that if you are individually treated with respect as a team, you're going to be stronger together. Okay, so when they're in the huddle, you know why Darius Slay made those comments about, hey, man, my dog got so speed up my process. He was ready to get up out of here. And now after hearing his interview yesterday, I got a little different opinion on him. But at the same time, men don't treat men disrespectful. That's just the bottom line. And I feel like if you respect someone as a man, an individual, when they come together as a team, they're going to play. Those guys played for Jim Caldwell. I can't say that they're doing the same for Matt Patricia.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, is Matt was he the guy? I mean, you know, he was 1-10 against playoff teams, 9-7 wasn't that good, and we couldn't beat the good teams. We all know what was said. But at the same time, we all men sitting at this table, and we all know no matter how much money we getting, we know what's going to slide and what's not going to slide.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just me, but that's just my opinion. Make sure you guys save your comments for the end of the show. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next subject. And I got a little issue with Detroit Lions. I've been waiting on this Matthew Stafford interview all day long, and they just now put it on their YouTube page. They need a better PR person or something. All right, so the Detroit Lions made some killer draft picks. We got Jeff Okudah in the first round and one DeAndre Swift in the second. And there is a person, a former Detroit Lion, that thinks we are going to have the best running game in the NFC North. Let's take a listen.
I want to talk about the Lions. So the Lions have been a team that has always focused on the pass game, right? And, you know, since Calvin Johnson left, they've been a team trying to figure out what their identity is. And for the last 4 years, since we've been doing the show, we've been waiting for the running game to just take shape just a little bit. I mean, they've been struggling with the running game since Barry Sanders retired, and that is no exaggeration, just trying to find consistency over the years. The last 1,000-yard rusher, I believe, was 2013, Reggie Bush. That was the team I was on, so we know how long ago that was, and I think they're finally starting to fix it. Kerryon Johnson, he showed some moments where he did some good things. He got banged up, but what they did in the draft, that was great for them to go get DeAndre Swift. I mean, he comes from that, you know, he comes from that Georgia running back pedigree. You know, Nick Chubb, immediate impact. Sony Michel, immediate impact. Todd Gurley, immediate impact. I mean, people love DeAndre Swift. They love the way he ran. So it was almost like him falling to 35 was great. It was the football God's blessing the Detroit Lions. And if you look at the amount of tear that some running backs have versus DeAndre, he doesn't have it. You look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who came out of Wisconsin, who's one of our favorite guys. He's big, fast, strong, durable, but he has 926 carries. That's almost 1,000 carries in college. My guy DeAndre Swift, 440 carries in college. So because he had to share the backfield, he didn't get that wear and tear. And I do feel like he's going to make an immediate impact. And as much as Matt Stafford loves to drop back and throw the ball downfield, at this point in his career, He would love to just go through his progressions and check down. He would love to line up backs up against linebackers and safeties and utilize the nickel and dime in between the hashes and kind of matriculate the ball. You know what I mean? So I feel like this combination of running backs, along with the wide receivers and tight ends they already have, let me just make the statement. The Detroit Lions could have the best running game in the NFC North for a team who hasn't had one in quite some time. And I am a firm believer in their building is going to show us that this season. I get it. Minnesota has Dalvin Cook. I get Aaron Jones was unbelievable last year with the Packers. And the Bears, they got some guys that can make some plays. But I feel like the Detroit Lions are going to do it this year and be the best running game in the North.
Well, first of all, don't cut me off while I'm talking. Nate was spitting facts, and she cutting him off. So be quiet, okay? That's number one. Secondly, if you have not thumbed up the stream, please do so. Trying to get this out to as many people as possible. So we're going to start with you, Troxel Sports Talk. We know that Nate Burleson, I dug him while he was here. Except for when he was trying to catch the pieces, broke his arm, and just messed our whole season up. But outside of that, man, Nate is a real cool, loyal guy. And just so you guys know, Nate Burleson, along with former Detroit Lion Dan Orlowski, are both up to be the commentators for Monday Night Football this coming season.
Get him here.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, they
get him here.
They did get rid of Booger McFarland and Tess as well, so
Thank
was
you.
a short one season. So Troxel Sports Talk, we know he's kind of a homer. He played for Minnesota, Seattle, us. How do you think Nate Burleson, do you think he was on to anything saying that the Detroit Lions would be the best running game in the NFC North?
I absolutely do think so. The only issue I have would be how well can the offensive guards play. If they can play well, and we could keep, say, a Nick Bogdan, that run game will be one of the elites in the NFL. I won't even say in the division. I'll say in the entire NFL, we will have the respect where guys cannot crowd the backfield for the passing game, and they will actually have to think about, crowding that, putting 8 in the box, getting after the running back. And with that, you could put a Kenny Golladay in a one-on-one situation, and I love my odds with that. Or you're going to leave Marvin Jones Jr. wide open, or you're going to leave a Danny Amendola wide open, or you're going to leave Marvin Hall, or even a Cephas, or even a Hawkinson. And that is going to catapult our offense that we have been crying for since 1999 when Barry Sanders retired.
Yeah, that's just what he was saying. All right, we're going to move on to the DERRN. DERRN, how do you feel about what Nate Burleson said?
I really like what he has to say, and I love that he is more of a homer for the Lions than he is the Vikings. That just makes me very happy. But here's where the realist that I was talking about comes into play. I haven't seen a good running game for the Lions in a very long time. And it's just very hard for me to see them just automatically be the number one rushing offense in the North alone. I mean, if it happens, then I see us winning the North. That has to happen in order for us to win.
Yeah, I agree. Mark, what you got, man? How do you feel about what Nate Burleson had to say?
I absolutely love what Nate Burleson said. Sorry, guys. The key is Kerryon Johnson, in my eyes. He needs to stay healthy for, I think, DeAndre Swift just to even succeed even a little bit in that offense. That's a 1A, 1B in my eyes. And that's 2 NFL starting caliber running backs that we have on the roster. And I absolutely love it. And I forget, Troxel is your name? Sorry, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he hit the nail on the head when he said the 2 guards. Because I love the 2 guards that they grabbed, Stenberg and Jackson. Those guys were solid, and Stenberg is especially solid in the run game. I just love what they did there, and those guys should succeed there in that run game. They should really push those two running backs just to succeed. There's, like you said, like DeAndre Swift. When you watch him run, it's exciting. It just brings back. I'm not going to say Barry. I'm not going to get silly on you guys. I'm not going to say nothing like that. But I just love the way he runs. He just reminds me of a Barry type running back. And I think him and Kerryon are going to be 1A, 1B, and that's going to be the key right there. I think Nate nailed it in the head.
All facts.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So a lot of us so far seem to be agreeing with Nate Burleson with a few caveats in place. MICROMIKE, how do you feel about what one Nate Burleson had to say about our run game being the best in the NFC North?
Well, let's break this down a little bit while we got a moment here. If you look at the Green Bay Packers, who is the running back? I don't know because they are irrelevant. When it comes to Chicago Bears, they actually have a decent young running back. I still don't think he's better than DeAndre Swift. He's better than Bo Scarborough. But when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, they have a really, really good running back in Cook, and they actually run the football. They definitely utilize their running position on all fronts all the time when they play the games. It depends on how we utilize the run game. How do we use it? Are we going to consistently use it and be balanced? Hopefully, that is definitely the case. But it may not be the case. I think we have an extremely talented running back at DeAndre Swift. We have Bo Scarborough, who's a good Thunder, and Kerryon Johnson. When he's playing well, he could play well. It just depends on what our offensive coordinator does. Do they stick with the run game? If they do, yes, we could have the best run game. But if they do what we have done in the past, where they're kind of in flux and they're imbalanced, then no, we're not going to have the best run game. I think we have the talent to be. The issue is who is going to make this happen. Is Darrell Bevel going to stick with it? Is the guards that we drafted going to be able to open up the holes? I do believe so. I do believe we have the talent when it comes to the guard. I do believe Halapaludi Vaitai is a very good running edge for the right tackle. I think we do have that ability to be the best, but I'm not going to declare it now because I have to see them run the football consistently, and we just have not done that. And I know the Minnesota Vikings, they do that. They do stick with the run, and they play solid defense. But if we stick with it, then yes, I believe we can be. But I have to give that edge right now to the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. All right. So you disagree with Nate overall is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's because Minnesota consistently sticks with their run game. You know they're going to run it, and they got a very talented running back. Us, we have the talent, but it seems like we get away from it some games. Now, I do believe they have committed to the run game. You don't draft two running backs. You don't draft two guards if you ain't committed to this run game. So the possibility is there. Absolutely. It is absolutely there. We just got to see the coaching staff commit to it. If they commit to it, man, I mean, Bo Scarborough, DeAndre Swift, Kerryon Johnson, look out. And Huntley with jet sweeps, also in a mix with the run game. Yes, we definitely could be the best running team in the NFC North.
Okay. All right. Those are all facts. TA, how do you feel about what Nate Burleson had to say about the Lions having the best run game in all of the NFC North? Yep, that's what I thought. TA
Man, this is how I feel about it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, TA.
Hey, this is how I feel about it, though. The run game, everything is predicated on the Lions being able to block. Now, we know that the offensive line has had problems, not with the pass block, with the run block. And I know how good Swift can be, and I know how good Kerryon can be when healthy, and I know what Bo Scarborough brings to the table. And I have to say, I can agree with Nate Burleson on that the matter of the fact is that we can be that team. We just have to go out there and execute and do it. And that's the biggest thing. The key is for us to be able to do it on all phases, being able to block and the running backs doing their job. And I think if they do their job, I think the Detroit Lions can be the number one run attack in but they have to be able to do it behind a better run block schemes and not just what I want to see too. I want to see the running backs be able to get to their sweet spots. Everybody has a sweet spot on the field, whether it's somebody bouncing to the outside and they're good at doing that, or somebody's running between the tackles. Whatever that player is good at doing, make sure you utilize the player in the way he should be utilized. And if he's utilized that way, I think that the Lions can be a great NFC North rushing football team.
Yeah, I think that Nate Burleson he's probably one of the biggest homers out there. And I think that he does admire DeAndre Swift, but I think Swift can carry the load by himself. I like the point that he brought out about Jonathan Taylor. He's had 900 plus something carries, whereas DeAndre Swift has had half that. So we know this guy can carry a load, and I think that he's going to outshine Kerryon Johnson. And honestly, I don't think Kerryon is going to finish the year healthy. So we're going to have to rely on a Bo Scarborough or something like that. And I think if we got those guards, we got the right run block and stuff like that with a Kerryon Johnson, we very well could have a 1-2 punch. Even if Bo is in there. I mean, Bo showed out the chances he got last season. So while I admire Nate Burleson, I think it's a little too early to say that we're going to have the best running game in the North. I mean, we still got Cook, and I like what you guys have been saying. We have to establish a run game. We don't have a run game. So to go from worst to first is a pretty big jump. Now, it's happened before, but that's a lot to ask, and I think that it's a little bit of home reveal coming out. But I respect Nate Burleson, man. I just disagree with him for this one scenario. So, Mark, you still with us, man?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. I know YouTube was giving us, first of all, guys, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. And YouTube is giving us problems and things like that. But we appreciate you guys and the love that you've given our new show, making us the new hotness in the YouTube game. We appreciate that because it really is all about you guys. So thank you guys so much. YouTube tried to stop us, but we are not going anywhere. Now, we're going to move on to everybody answer, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the next question. And I want to say thank TA for this one right here. Okay, so Matthew Stafford has been our quarterback for going on, I want to say 12 seasons now. This will be his 12th season. And he's had some pretty talented teams around him. How do you guys feel? Do you think that this 2020 team, how do you think it compares in regards to talent as far as, do you think that this is the Detroit Lions' best, most talented team that Matthew Stafford has had around him? I'm going to start with you, the DERRN. How do you feel about that, man?
I'm pretty torn between this roster, which I think is pretty good, but then again, I also thought 2012 when the Lions had Calvin Johnson, Titus Young, Ryan Broyles, Mikael LaShore. Defense, they had Vanden Bosch, Sue, DeAndre Levy, Louis Delmas. I thought they were really talented. The only way we're going to be able to know for sure is the win-loss column.
Those are facts.
I fully agree with that.
And you know what? We're going to move on to Mark. Mark, how do you feel, man? Do you feel that the Detroit Lions, this is the most talented, this upcoming team? I know it's early. We can't really say, we have to see him on the field, but just on paper, how do you feel about the talent surrounding Matthew Stafford?
I think the talent, it's not as talented as the 2014 team. Mm-hmm. I do not think that. I think that team was ready to rock, and they just never took care of business. But offensively, I think this team is just ready to go. They do have questions on the offensive line. That's obvious. That, who knows what Big V is going to be like at right tackle. Can't say his name. I forget what.
Don't worry, nobody. Only Mike can say it. I think Mike and the DERRN. That's it.
I call him Hail Vitae, so it's all good.
Big V.
I just call him Big V.
Yeah, exactly.
and I think they're going to stick him at right tackle, and then like who knows what's going to happen between those two guards there. Me personally, I love Stenberg. I like him a little bit more than Jackson. I think he's a little bit more polished, but offensively, I think it's the best team that Stafford has had around him in a long while. I'm still nervous about the defense. I don't really know what they're going to do there. I still think they need to add a couple pieces. I'd like to see a defensive end, maybe an outside linebacker that can rush the quarterback. But I don't think I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really think they're the most talented team that he's been around. 2014, I think, was phenomenal. I just think they're really good. And I'm just kind of on the fence with it right now. But offensively, yes, 100%. I think they should be good to go there.
Yeah, well, that's kind of funny that you said that, and because we had Calvin and nobody else, and now we don't have Calvin, and we got an actual offensive squad around him. Troxel Sports Talk, how do you feel about that, man? The most talented team Stafford has had around him. Do you think this 2020 team is that offense and defense? We're talking about a complete team here.
That is way too early to tell. You have to play games first and foremost. But offensively, absolutely. Matthew Stafford offensively has zero excuse. Now, defensively, like everyone has stated, we do need to add a couple more pieces. Maybe a defensive tackle, defensive end, outside linebacker, somewhere where you can get a real pass rush and clog up the middle of the line.
Wait a minute, Travis. I got to cut you off, man. I'm sorry, bro. But you know how I feel about this pass rusher, man. How I feel about that. And one Julian. Julian, wait a minute. Julian was drafted as an outside linebacker. I don't care what y'all tell me. I know what I saw. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It said outside linebacker.
Right, exactly. So, how I feel about that, man. So watch yourself, Travis. But I'm real touchy about that. I'm real touchy. Until we get Everson Griffin on his team, I'm very touchy about that, man. I'm like Pillsbury right now.
So you want what do you call it? Jadeveon Clowney for $10 million?
Come on, bro. You trying to do that to me again, Trav? Come on, man. What I tell you before, man. What I tell you before is I'm trying to find it. No. Come on, man. To the no. No, I don't want that dude.
I know.
Give me Everson Griffin. I know you had to set up the sound, but I got you, man. I got you, bro. But y'all know who I want, man. But I'm sorry, bro, if I threw you off. But I just had to say something. Okay, go ahead, man.
And an Everson Griffin, maybe you could get a Marcel Darius, and that's all your money outside of giving, Kenny Golladay an extension. I definitely feel then you could have a legitimate chance to compete for titles as far as division titles and maybe even an NFC title. I don't know if it would be as good enough to win a Super Bowl. I won't go there. But at least to compete for the conference, absolutely. Because you have a pass rush, you got some middle linebackers and in a linebacking core, you got, your secondary is probably one of your strongest suit, and your defensive coordinator, that is his strong suit, is the secondary. So, when you have stuff like that, you can see the vision. We just got to compete for that vision.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Noble, you didn't go yet.
Yeah.
Man. How do you feel about this 2020 team as far as having the most talent that Matthew Stafford has had to play with?
Well, Grit, what I think about this team is very, very talented. This team is very, very talented. And first off, I got to say the offense. Matthew Stafford has had the most weapons at his disposal that he's ever had in his career. You're talking about one Kenny Golladay, who led the NFL with 11 touchdowns. And then think about the game that Marvin Jones Jr. had. He had 4 touchdown passes in one game. So You're talking about a guy that's right there with Kenny Golladay. And if Marvin Jones doesn't get hurt, you're talking about a guy that's probably getting another 1,000 yards right alongside Kenny Golladay.
Yep.
And then when you look at the fact that they have one TJ Hockenson, who we know that, we're not going to just say TJ Hockenson is the man right now, because it's going to take a couple seasons for him to be the man, but you know that the potential is high. And I know everybody, when we saw the Arizona game and we saw that TJ Hawkinson was out there balling, we was excited, and rightfully so. But I also think that Danny Amendola, we didn't know what type of role that he was going to play on the team.
I did. TA, come on, bro.
You
Come
knew.
on. I knew.
You
Yeah,
knew.
That's right.
You
Thank
knew.
I knew. I'm just saying.
You
I
knew, but everybody else didn't know that he was gonna put up those numbers, man. And sometimes most people don't put up those type of numbers that Amendola put up, but he put up some decent numbers. And yeah, we're talking about Marvin Hall, how he was catching the deep ball out there. Everything that he was catching was deep, and he was catching all of it. You're talking about leading the NFL with probably like 30-something yards per catch or something. So he was doing his thing. And then when you look at the defense was horrible, but now it's no more excuses because Patricia has all of his Patriot guys on defense. And I don't know if he's this quote-unquote guru on defense because his defense has been getting exposed since the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know how good his defensive strategies are, but what I do know, the team that I'm seeing right before my eyes, offensively, Matthew Stafford has the best weapons around him offensively with the running back in Kerryon Johnson and also having DeAndre Swift and Bo Scarborough at your disposal. That's going to make this team a lot stronger, and you just don't know how these guys are going to be used. You can use Bo Scarborough in all type of ways as well, having him be able to get those hard, tough yards or whatever, red zone yards or whatever. But I definitely think that this is probably one of the most talented teams that Stafford has had around him.
Okay, all right. And I see you, MICROMIKE, sitting patiently over there. What's your thoughts on this team and the talent when it comes to Matthew Stafford and this team?
Look, I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. I need a pill. I need some blue pill, too. Got it ready. Let's break this bad boy down. Let's start with the 2011 squad. They had a fantastic offense. They were killing it. Stafford threw for over 5,000 yards. You had Javid Best. You had Megatron. You had an okay offensive line, but the defense was horrible, in my opinion, and that hurt us. Well, let's go to 2014. We had...
That's for you, Mike. There you go, man.
We had a really good defense. Ndamukong Suh, DeAndre Levy. We was rolling on defense, but then we had KFC. And the offense was trash. So what do we get this year? I believe our offense is definitely top 5. No doubt about it. You got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You got Bo Scarborough. The offensive line is upgraded with the big guys up front with Jackson. You got Halapalooty Vaitai running up the right side. We got Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in all of the NFL. We got Matthew Stafford, TJ Hawkinson, Jesse James, Marvin Jones Jr. We got Hall, the most underrated wide receiver in the game. Jones, we got it all, and I'm jonesing for Danny Amendola, who could catch it on the third down. But our defense is a question mark, and we don't know what it's going to look like. I do think it's going to be much better than last year. So while I down some of this keg of Kool-Aid, I'm going to say, yes, we have the best team. Yes, we can do it. It just needs to happen. They got to be able, all 3 phases to be great. 2011, great offense. 2014, great defense. We've not had it at the same time. If we can have a complementary defense, it doesn't even have to be top 10 or anything like that. You get up there in the 15 range, this team's going to win football games. We were in every game last year. We could run the football now. Now we can close the games out. We have the talent. Stafford's excited. He's happy. He's already trained with DeAndre Swift. He's all excited because he knows he's going to have a run game. If that defense can work, yes. Put that Kool-Aid in an IV and stick it in me. Let's go.
Mike, hey,
you need some milk.
Hey, listen. You know that movie? I'll have what he's having because Mike is on a whole nother level, man. Appreciate that, Mike. Now, when it comes to the talent of this team, Man, that's a little tough. I'm gonna have to say no. Man, I think they have potential, but I think it's very talented, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And here's the thing about when it comes to Everson Griffin and he doesn't fit the scheme. Okay, I need y'all to tell me in the chat. You have one job. Your job is to bull through said lineman and put the quarterback on his back. Why does it have to be a scheme for that? Everson Griffin is a 32-year-old beast who is very familiar with one Matthew Stafford, along with all the other quarterbacks in the NFC North. Y'all scream about the scheme with this team, and that scheme has gotten us what? The 10th overall defense, thanks to Snacks Harrison, and the 31st overall defense for the 2019 season. You
Thanks
literally
Snacks Harrison.
can only go, say that one more time.
Thanks for Snacks Harrison.
Yeah, thanks, Snacks Harrison. Yeah, for that, because that was, yeah, exactly. And then last year, we're one team from the bottom. And Everson Griffin doesn't fit the scheme. But Mike Daniels fit the scheme. And we about to transition to one Mikey D right now.
No, man.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, we just can't get rid of this man. We cannot get rid of. We can't get rid of this. Okay. So, but I hear you. Lions Go Lions says it starts in the locker room, but I understand the 3 technique, the 5 technique, and all that stuff. I'm saying you got a dude that obviously is a beast. He
can get to the quarterback.
And can get to the quarterback. He's going to be on a reasonable salary, but he doesn't fit the scheme. That's a whole nother show. We'll come back to that. All right. So Mike Daniels, MICROMIKE. You talk about interior defensive linemen and how the Detroit Lions still need one, in your opinion. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. We need help.
All right. So it looks like we need, but it was Mike Daniels who was on the radio show, and he had some things to say about the locker room with the Detroit Lions. Let's take a listen.
Seeing how those guys worked, how they practiced, they just worked so hard. And like I said, it's just unfortunate that things didn't go the way that we wanted them. But that locker room was definitely amazing. It was one of the better ones that I was a part of. And in Green Bay, they always have a great locker room culture. So that was a really, really, really good defensive family over there, man. I truly enjoyed my time with those guys.
Who are some of the teams that you've been talking with, and what is it like right now being out of work with the uncertainty of knowing where things may head for you?
There's been a decent amount of interest. There has been some interest without it. Like there's been some soft interest, as in, teams want they like you, but they can't bring you in and let their doctors check you out. And I think that's what's limiting just the whole free agency process in general. You look at a guy like Cam Newton. I mean, this guy was an MVP of the league just a few years ago, still really young, and yet he hasn't landed on the team. And you all know there's quite a few teams that can use a quarterback. There's a lot of really good free agents out there, a lot of quality guys, and the fact that a lot of guys haven't been signed right now, and we're a few weeks away from June, lets you know that this situation has really halted and hindered the process. So it's just being patient, it's waiting game, and all we can do right now up until everything opens back up is work. I just saw LA got extended to possibly July. I mean, camp starts in July, right? So all you gotta do is just keep working and be ready for when your name is called. And this season, we're going to see who really was putting in the hard work and who's going to use this as an excuse.
Is there a certain scheme or team you look at and you say, man, I'd like to play there, or I think I'd be a good fit there? I mean, would you love to go back to Green Bay?
I'd definitely love to go back to Green Bay. That's my home. I've been there I played there for 7 years, man. Had a really stellar career there. And that's definitely a team I would love to go back to.
Well. Mr. Mike don't do nothing for us, Mr. Daniels. Now, let's take that into 2 parts. Let's talk about what he said about the Detroit Lions locker room. He said it was a good group of guys, and they worked themselves. They kind of worked their tail off. Now, Mike, I was going to say MICROMIKE, but not MICROMIKE. He has a team. Mike Daniels, however, does not. So Mike Daniels has been filmed pulling trees, pushing cars, lifting weights. Obviously, he's trying to get on another team. Let's look at this into two parts. How do you feel about what Mike Daniels said about the group of guys that he was around in the Detroit Lions locker room? We're going to start with TROXEL'S Sports Talk.
I appreciate that, but goodbye. You want to go back to Green Bay? I'll buy your ticket. Stay away from Detroit, please. We don't need you stealing 8 games worth of checks for you to play 8 games.
Excuse me, Travis, 9 games.
I'm sorry, 9
Don't
games.
get it twisted, bro. He was
he did call me out, so
he
call
played
me
in
out.
9 games for the 2019 season.
But no, I mean, I don't want him on my squad. I understand he got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove, that he can play 16 games, things like that, whatever. You got my blessings, but don't come here, please.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. He's a Detroit Lions content creator. Make sure you check his channel out. His link will be in the chat. Make sure you click on that and go subscribe to Orm's Forum. We support all Detroit Lions content creators. We need more of us. It's not enough, and we need all we can get. So, Mark, how do you feel about Mike Daniels' comments, man?
Well, to me, it sounded like he was just trying to pitch his game. Like he was trying to get on a team right there. That was just kind of like player speak right there to me. Last year, though, when we signed him, I was fired up, man. I was expecting the Mike Daniels from about 2017. I was like, I was eating that cornbread, drinking that Kool-Aid on that one.
Speaking of that, we got somebody in the chat. He's not here today. His name is Kool-Aid and Cornbread. So
there you go.
Perfect name, man.
There you go, man. You know what I mean? So like when we signed him last year, I was expecting him to be I wasn't expecting him to be that guy from 2017, 2016, but I was expecting him to be a stud. And it was just, I had those rose-colored, blue-colored glasses on, and it was a failure. It was a big-time failure. Now, I see what he's trying to do. But he's trying to get himself on a team. And I do like that he said that the Lions locker room worked hard and they did all the things that were an NFL team is supposed to do. Because a lot of people, a lot of experts say that Patricia doesn't know how to run a locker room and all this stuff, and guys don't want to play for him. But I do like when a veteran comes out and says something like that. So, but I don't want nothing to do with him. I'll tell you that. I don't want him to come back to Detroit because I did hear that there was rumblings of him actually signing back with us, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't. He's old, man. He's 31. You know what I mean? But he's banged up. It's not because of his age, really. It's just that I don't think he's healthy. I think he's damaged goods. So I'm just kind of, but I do understand where he's coming from, saying that he's just talking himself up, right?
Yeah,
that's what I see.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
TA, what you think about Mike Daniels and his comments, man, about the locker room and his potential to return to Green Bay?
Man, send him to Green Bay fast, like Truck said. But no, I enjoyed his comments, man. What he said about the Lions, because for one, it is a brotherhood in the locker room. That's what, when guys come in and they coming in from OTAs and they coming in from these hard 2-a-day workouts and stuff like that, they're working hard, man. A lot of these NFL players, they work hard. Everybody wants to get to the Super Bowl, but we know at the end of the season, it's only going to be one team that's going to be the champion. Everybody else loses. But at the same time, what he said was what we needed. We needed to hear something positive about the Lions in a way that that they are playing together, but it's just not. I mean, they're doing all the things that they need to do, but it's just not trickling out onto the football field. They're not getting the W's. So the team overall may have been really, really close with one another in the locker room, but they just couldn't find ways to get the W, man. They couldn't win out on the field. So everything that Mike said was true, but he stole a lot of money from us, and we really needed that guy. A lot of us was hyped when he came over to the team. We was very excited. We was like, man, we're going to be some dogs. We got Mike Daniels on that line, and he offered us nothing. So
I was one of those guilty parties.
Yeah, I made a video about him. It was man, and I don't even know what to say, man. He let us down tremendously.
You've been robbed.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, darn. So Mike Daniels is talking about blah 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 locker room, but I really was intrigued by his Green Bay comments. How do you feel about the Mike Daniels comments, man?
Well, I really like that he said our locker room was good because it was just negative beyond negative and negative and negative from everyone else that's not on the team anymore. And he's still looking for a team, so maybe he's kind of wanting to get back with us. But I think he's just trying to get on a team. I might be the minority here, but I honestly wouldn't mind him back on a really low salary but incentive-based deal. When he was on the field, he had one of the highest pressure rates on the team. So if he's healthy, I would like to see him back. If he's not, go to Green Bay. They can deal with him.
Okay. All right, Dern, give us some money, man. Give us specific contract, minus the incentives. Give us.
Oh,
what
man.
would you give him?
He got $8 million last year, and he hardly played. So maybe if he took like a $5-6 million deal and then base it off incentives like for sacks or stuff like that, I would probably do that.
Wow.
Gridiron Michael
Yes, sir.
Johnson says, turn your volume up just a wee bit.
Yeah, I'm as high as I can go, man. I can't go no higher. So, but as far as the Dern,
Bruh.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
I get it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Thank you, Michael. I'm as far as I can go, man. It might be a YouTube thing or I don't know, but we'll figure it out for next time. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Try to give you the best show possible, but YouTube wouldn't let it happen. They said, no, you guys are the new hotness. We got to cut you off. So thank you, YouTube, for that. We appreciate you. MICROMIKE, how do you feel about them comments, man?
Oh, I think, was it TA that said that he has a chip on his shoulder? It was one of the panels here, and that's not a good thing because if he has a chip on his shoulder, there's a good chance he's going to have a sling on his shoulder. The guy is always injured. Always injured.
That's fact.
I want us to social distance from him. I don't want another injured player on this team. He's injury prone. He did nothing for us. Let's find an individual that's not injury prone. That will do something for us. Look, if you go to Green Bay, I appreciate it. It takes a roster spot for someone else who will actually be healthy for the moment. Mike, you hurt us. You're ruining my name. I was so happy when we signed you last year.
Yeah,
and then I heard this. Got him when he
Got him.
Yeah. Man, look, I just want to have healthy players, and I don't want him back because he's not healthy. He's damaged goods from top to bottom. When he spoke, I'm sure he ripped a muscle in his cheek. Maybe he fell out, broken ankle. I don't know. But look, man, we need healthy, not injury. Bye-bye.
So can I interject with this a little bit?
Oh, the turn objection.
So the only objection I have to that is almost our whole team was hurt last year. So are you going to dump everyone else that was hurt, like Deshaun Hand? He didn't play a single down last year. So I'm just saying, man.
When it comes to Mike Daniels, he's actually would be contract as much higher as Deshaun Hand is on his rookie contract still.
Right.
You're not going to get rid of everybody, but you need to really reduce the risk and not get players that are injured. We drafted players that generally were not injured. We picked up players that were generally not injured. Mike Daniels, he's over the hill. He'd be more expensive because he's a veteran. He's not on a rookie contract. And to me, that's the big deal.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, since everyone is hurt and we know what his potential is, so why not try to give him one more year? And if he's hurt again on a low incentive based deal, then ship him off. That's all I'm saying.
I definitely understand when you say he has potential. We seen it last year. I am ready to move on. Get another guy.
Yeah. See, you know what? See, MICROMIKE's Kool-Aid does have a bitter point. Like he can only mix it so much, and then he's had enough. And I will agree to the extent there's no way. I don't care what nobody has to say about EG. My man is a stud. He is buff. He will get the job done. I don't care that he stacked Matthew Stafford 5 times. That's 5 other quarterbacks. He can. You don't think he gonna get to Nick Foles 5 times, or Kirk? You like that Cousins, or Aaron over the hill Rodgers? Come on, bro. Like, so we gave this dude 7.8 guarantee. He was on injured reserve at the end of 2018. So I think DERRN, for me, that's the difference between the entire roster, pretty much the 22 or 21 that was on the injured reserve, and the fact that this guy finished injured reserve last year. And we went and we just, hey, man, you like money? Good, because we're going to throw you a bunch of it, and you haven't even played. And I think that's why he's kind of okey-doking people this year. He's pulling trees and lifting cars and, doing jumping jacks and all that, because he knows that he okey-doked the Lions last year. That's just point blank #facts. Yes, and he knows that hurt his credibility, and he's trying to build that back up. So for me, I know this is too low because he's not going to sign. But at this point, I like how he said, well, I'm just going to put it on the fact that you can't meet and the doctors can't check you out. Of course they can't check you out. They want to check you out because you ain't about to do this again. For me, it needs to be a Geronimo Allison deal. I'm talking about we'll give you $1 million, and the other like 4 or 5 is straight incentives. I'm talking about 5, 6 sacks, so many tackles for a loss, so many tackles, period. That's me, because this dude, there's no way. We need a guy in the middle, but for him, he would basically work for free, in my opinion, and so he can go back to Green Bay. And, I don't know, drive around Danica Patrick. I don't know. As he's working for him.
I guess the only reason I would like him back is because all the stuff he did to the Lions when he was on the team, when he was on the Packers, and when he was healthy.
Yeah.
He dominated our line a lot of the time.
Yeah, he did. And I think that's why we went for him.
Right.
But my thing is he ended the season on injured reserve. So that was a giant question mark. Maybe the Lions trusted that he was healthy, and then he okey-doked the squad. So I don't know, man. We do need somebody in the middle. And if the deal was right, I'm not even going to lie. I'd take him too. But it would have to be, like I said, Geronimo Allison. Like, bruh, you literally have money from last year. Like, we paid you. We guaranteed you over $7 million. So real talk, we shouldn't have to give you nothing. I mean,
exactly.
So we'll see when this quarantine lifts. If it lifts anytime soon, what happens to these players like Everson Griffin, Mike Daniels, and things like that. But, Mike Daniels, he seemed a little happy to me to be going, yes, I would go back to Green Bay in a second. I'm like, why are you so happy, dog? Why don't you be like, yeah, man, I love, because didn't you want to play here? Remember that, fellas, when he did the press conference? It was like, man, I want to play for Matt Patricia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a genius.
I love Matt Patricia.
That's right, TA. He's a genius.
He's a genius.
He's a genius. Yeah, that's right. And I think he said it just like that. He's a genius. So
that genius better start winning.
Absolutely. So, guys, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you for YouTube for ruining the show, but you guys have made it worth coming back, and we appreciate that. Make sure you like the stream. Check out the chat for Mark Orum's link and Orum's forum. We'll have him on more often as well. So we're going to move on to the last question, and then we're going to take viewer questions. So get your comments and things like that ready as we do the lightning round with that. So, guys, as we approach the 2020 NFL season, we've got less than 90 days or so. What is your biggest fear, TA from Noble Sports Entertainment, for the Detroit Lions 2020 NFL season?
My biggest fear is that this thing will backfire in our face. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that the defense won't step up. My biggest fear is that the offensive linemen don't do their job. My biggest fear is that Kerryon Johnson gets hurt again. That's my biggest fear. When coming into the season, it's just as simple as this, guys. We already know what we have to do. We've been talking about it for weeks. We got to win. And if Patricia doesn't want to be on the hot seat, because he's already on the hot seat, we don't have to place him there. He's already there. The thing of it is, he has to know that those first 2 games are divisional games. You're going against the Chicago Bears, and you're also going against the Green Bay Packers. Those games could go either way. We could lose to the Bears, you know what I'm saying? Because they already have a slightly favored to come in to beat the Bears. So we can't get so caught up in thinking that, we can beat the Bears. No, we have to do it because the Bears still got a decent defense. So we got to come in and do what we need to do to go out and to start winning some football games. And I think if we do that, that'll take some fear away. But the fear is always that they are going to continue to lose and it'll be another season like it was last year.
Yeah, one of those down the drain seasons. I got you, man. Mark Orem from Orem's Forum. What's your biggest Detroit Lion fear, man, for the 2020 season?
Well, my biggest fear is if Matt Stafford goes down, I think we're in a whole mess of trouble.
Wait a minute, Mark. Wait a minute, man. We signed Chase McBurger Daniels. I call him McBurger because he was working on the street 2 years ago. Okay, so wait a minute. You mean to tell me that your confidence is not in Chase Daniels?
Hey. I remember Chase Daniel coming in last year and actually lighting us up last year.
Absolutely. He absolutely did.
Okay.
But our defense was ranked 31st.
Well, that's nothing to be proud of, though. That's really nothing to be proud of, right?
Facts.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I do like Chase Daniel. He's a really solid backup, but in my opinion, if Matthew goes down, I think we're in a whole mess of trouble. He's the catalyst of this team. He's the guy. He's not your vocal, your crazy leader there. Like he won't go nuts or nothing like that. But he's the guy. And if he does go down, they're in a whole mess of trouble. And then if Carry-On goes down too, like Noble said, then they're in a little bit more like trouble there too. And he's gonna go down. That's my opinion. I think he's gonna go down. I don't trust him. And then you're putting all the onus on a rookie running back, right? And that's going to be tough for the kid. But I think Bo can step in, and then you have hopefully Ty Johnson. But yeah, it's going to be, to me, it's going to be Matthew Stafford, and if Carry-On goes down, those are my 2 biggest fears. Because I've already told myself that I'm still not confident in the defense yet. I'm just not there yet. I like what they've done. But my 2 big things are Matthew Stafford and Carry-On Johnson.
Okay. All right. TROXEL'S Sports Talk. What's your biggest fear for the 2020 season?
The trenches. Offensive and defensive trenches. Games are won and lost there. Can this team finally get the trenches right? If they can, this team is going to be right there in the thick of things. If they are not, heads might roll.
I thought you fell asleep or something, man. Because you paused. I was like, Travis, are you okay?
Yeah, because I really want to make sure that, like, it's so hard because it's like, a part of me kind of wants to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this year. If they don't get the trenches right, it is going to be a failed season. Heads will roll, and I'll be okay with that. But, like MICROMIKE was always hitting home for the past, few weeks, be all in. Whatever it is, be all in. I'm cool with that. But at the end of the day, wins and losses determine playoffs. And playoff wins and losses determine Super Bowls. I want a Super Bowl in the city of Detroit. Anything less is a failure.
Okay. Wow, Travis is dropping the hammer. You put the hammer down like Thor, man. I see you, bro.
Let heaven rain.
I see you, man. MICROMIKE sitting there patiently waiting, sipping on some Kool-Aid. What's your biggest fear of the 2020 season, sir?
Let me throw y'all a curveball and something that's a little bit different. But my biggest fear, fellas, my biggest fear, chat, my biggest fear is the Lions going 7-9. Just enough to miss the playoffs and just enough to not have a good draft pick. And that is my biggest fear, for sure. I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be either good or not good, because one of those or two of those solutions there, those answers, you can get positive solutions for. You can get better with the draft, and or you make the playoffs. So 7-9 is my biggest fear. I want this team to win, and 7-9 would just be so disappointing. And I would really have to consider how many times I hit my head on a wall to get amnesia if we go 7-9. Let's get the dubs. Let's get the playoffs. But 7-9, my fear.
Yeah. Hey, well, hey, I feel all that, man. And I'm kind of with one pride 40. And I was thinking about this earlier today, but I think that's a fear that money will solve, because the NFL season will be played in its entirety. Believe that. There's too much money in this that they're not going to let one game be missed. Now, the preseason, that's up for debate, but the NFL season will happen in its entirety. Believe that. My biggest fear for the 2020 season is kind of like along the lines of MICROMIKE. Mediocrity or less. You know, this is Matthew Stafford's 12th year in the league. We've got the man for another 2 years. This season, next season. That third season is up for debate. Okay? He is a Super Bowl winning caliber quarterback. And I don't care if you like the man or don't like him. You have to look at the facts. He performs every single year, and he has not had a complete team around him, the closest being, I would say, 2014 and then 2011. But last year, we saw what happened when 21 people go down, including him. My biggest fear is that the Lions have another losing season. We wipe everybody out and start over. Because while that seems enticing, it's a whole. We know what happened last year with Matt Patricia's first year. Imagine if Bob Quinn goes, Matt Patricia goes, and another guy comes in. He's got to get his guys. He's got to get his guys to get his guys. And we've got to watch people's career go down the drain. Kerryon Johnson gets traded, and now Matthew Stafford plays for the New England Patriots. Okay? That's my biggest fear, is that they don't progress and move forward. We have 7 playoff spots this year. There's no reason this team can't turn it around like the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears before them. Win the division, or at least make that 7th seed. Okay? So that's my biggest fear, that we do that. So now we are going to wrap up the show. And again, guys, we appreciate every last one of you.
I didn't get mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, DERRN. I'm sorry, brother. You know what? Funny, okay, DERRN, my bad, man. Go ahead, man. What's your biggest fear?
No problem. Mine is a lot like yours, actually.
Okay.
My biggest fear is that we do not do well at all. My biggest fear is even worse than not doing well at all. We do another 3 to 4 win season, but this time Stafford doesn't get hurt, but everything else around him crumbles. My biggest fear is that, like you, everyone gets wiped out. And then the next person comes in and gets rid of Stafford, so he drafts his own quarterback. That's when we will know for sure that we wasted another, in my opinion, he's a generational talent. The dude has arm talent like no other. Luck was the closest one since he's been drafted, in my opinion, for arm talent.
Yeah, he does. And the thing is, being 12 years in the league now, he still's got it, man. He's still got it. And, you know, we have a good quarterback. We need to he had one of the top performances of the decade, this 2011 season, which was his 3rd year in the league, and he was lighting it up, over 5,000 passing yards, and didn't have too much more than Calvin Johnson. So, you know, we need to respect this guy and get his man a team so that he can take us to the next level. Now, guys, put your comments for the panel in the chat, please, as we wrap the show up. One Pride 40 says, my other biggest fear is not getting another haircut this year. Yeah, I can see that.
Bro.
I can see that, man. We here are on lockdown for quite a while, for another 2 weeks, and hopefully we can come off there. So put
One Pride 40. If you need a haircut, and you at least have a set of clippers, DM me on Twitter. I will help you to the best of my ability.
All right. Well, that's what's up. That's what. But why he need his own clip, Travis? Why he need his own clippers though? Why can't?
Well, if we're on lockdown and there's no, shops open and things like that,
Right.
how can he go get a haircut?
No, I'm saying why. Oh, I thought you were saying.
Oh, he was thinking that you had a pair at your house.
Right. That's what I thought.
Hey, no, that the FBI are actually what do you call it? People that are working from home are getting arrested by the FBI.
Wow.
For failure to comply with the what do you call it? With the stay at home. Yep.
Wow. So they have Ed 209, like you have 10 seconds to comply.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, shout out. Wow, that's crazy. Did not know that, Travis. Did not know that. So make sure you guys put hashtag ISN and then followed by your question. Flynn Hahn has a question. He says it's part 2 of his question. I didn't even see part 1, so that's my bad. He says, which, if any, undrafted free agents make the active roster? And should we pick up Teddy Bridgewater or Mariota and get rid of McDaniels? Okay, well, actually, it's Daniels, but I like to call him McBurger Flynn because he was flipping burgers.
Yeah, you can't get Teddy.
Yeah, can't get Teddy.
Or Mariota.
Yeah, both of them guys are wrapped up. So, yeah, I don't know. Mike, how do you feel about the undrafted free agents making the team, man?
Ooh, generally, we always have one. I think that tight end that we got could potentially be there. He's going to be in competition with Isaac Nada. It'll be interesting to see if he can beat him out. Other than that, I don't know, man. I mean, we're pretty solid when it comes to our starters, and it'll be maybe when it comes to the offensive line. But other than that, I'm just thinking the tight end that we got.
Okay. All right. Make sure
you're talking about Harrison Bryant. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got a thing that I was.
Oh, Hunter Bryant.
Hunter Bryant. Yeah. Now, as far as since nobody has put any questions yet, Austin Bryant, will he have? And I wanted to ask this before. Nick Bawden. Travis is very fond of fullback Nick Bawden. And while we're waiting for questions, Travis, what impact do you think he's going to have on the team this year?
If he could stay healthy, because that's been his biggest knock as well as Kerryon Johnson, is his health. If he can stay healthy, he is going to help tremendously. Here's a quote from one Mr. Sean Payton. Everybody else could be a dodo bird. We're not going to be a dodo bird. We're going to have a fullback on our team because look at the New England Patriots. They go out and win championships on a yearly basis. They got a fullback on their team named James Devlin. We're not going to be that dodo bird that doesn't have one. And when we need one, is scrambling to find one. So I feel that, it's that old school feel of football. And, when you have a running back that you really want to bounce to the outside, but he just might not have that quick move that get him, square, to the goal line and he could take off straight. Nick Bogdan can push that guy, the defender back, and he can go square up and then take off. And then guess what? You might have a 50, 60 yard touchdown, or maybe just a 50, 60 yard first down. And I feel like if you could get him healthy and give him a legit opportunity, he can do so much for Matthew Stafford being upright and the run game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very passionate about one Nick Bawden, Travis. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to actually end the show. We've had technical difficulties thanks to YouTube, and, us fellas got to get some sleep. So I appreciate the questions and apologize for the lack of answers. We will be back on Tuesday on MICROMIKE's channel, somewhere around 7 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you subscribe to all of us guys and check him out. Be ready for that. Set your reminder and get things ready. We're going to wrap up the show with some Mark Oram. Thank you so much for being here, man. And tell the people about your channel and what to expect out of Orm's Forum.
Hey, man, thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to do this, man. This really lifted me up, man. I feel real good doing this. And my channel is about the Detroit Lions for sure. But I'll talk NFL. I'd like to get into the Detroit Tigers every now and then, but I'm new. I've only done this for about a couple months, but you guys actually made me really happy today, man. And I really appreciate for you guys helping me out, man, and just give me this opportunity to butt heads with you guys.
All right. Well, appreciate that, Mark. You are welcome on anytime. Make sure you guys check out the channel. And real quick, 10 seconds or less, MICROMIKE, what you got for the people?
I appreciate everyone coming out. Technical difficulties sucks, but sometimes you got to embrace the suck, and that's what it's all about. So again, it was extremely humbling, you guys taking time out of your day to listen to us talk Detroit Lions football. And I'm going to leave you with this. Wash your hands and adios.
Appreciate that, Mike. TA, 10 seconds or less, man. What you got for the people?
Hey, shout out to everybody that rocked with us on today. Just like Mike said, we had some technical difficulties on today, but it's okay, guys. We'll be back fresh and up and going on Tuesday. So make sure you guys subscribe to Mark Orm. Definitely has a hot channel that's going on with Lions content. Make sure you subscribe to each and every panel guy that's on here, and have a good night.
Appreciate that. Travis Troxel, what you got, man?
Definitely check out tomorrow night TROXEL'S Sports Talk for the Grid and Trox show. Appreciate Mark for joining us on today's Detroit Lions podcast, One Pride podcast. You did great, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right, DERRN, what you got for the people, man?
It's always a great time being with you guys. And I love everyone coming out, listening to us. I love seeing the chat, and they give good points as well. Just keep it up. Come see us next Tuesday, and it'll be another great show.
All right, appreciate that. Nobody was in 10 seconds, but I will be. Thank you guys so much. We will see you on Tuesday, MICROMIKE's channel. We are out. Have a good, and thank you, YouTube, for dropping bombs, man. We appreciate that. Peace out, guys.